Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to our channel. So today we would like to talk about how to be a great English communicator without being perfect in this language. This video is mainly for people who have some knowledge in English but not confident about their communication skills when they are studying or working in an English environment.
Yeah, both Bo and I have been working and living abroad for years, and I have to say our English is still not perfect, but that doesn't really block us from being recognized as a good user researcher at English working environments or making friends with people from around the world.
Isn't that because you guys are smart and good looking?
Yeah, well, part of it, maybe, but it's definitely not the main reason. So today we want to share everyone our secret weapons. So firstly, we'll talk about 3 myths that people usually have about learning English, and then we'll share several tips about how to improve it and become good at it.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. So usually there's 3 myths about learning English, and I think the first one is your accent has to be authentic. And actually I think people don't care about your accent as long as they can clearly understand you, and perhaps only your English teacher will care about your accent. And I used to have this or because of my accent is not great, so I'm not so confident, and I just want to quote my mom's comment to me when I'm speaking English. It's like, I'm just like a mosquito, like flying and making some very small, tiny, low voice, and no one can understand. So then I realized that when I get drunk, I can speak English very well, and I think probably it's just because I just be more confident and shameless, and yeah, so right now I'm sober, and I think I'm just not at the best as I can. But yeah, the point is not to encourage you to be an alcoholist, but just to speak English more confidently and louder enough so that people can understand you, and do not worry too much about your accent. So I would say some suggestion for this one is don't set a bar that is too high, and you don't need to be a native speaker as long as you can express yourself confidently and clearly. And I think most important thing is authenticity. I mean, you being comfortable to be yourself, and it's okay to have an accent. It's okay to have an accent, not accident. Having an accident is not okay. I hope everyone is safe.
Yeah.
And see, I make all these funny things when I'm speaking English. And to be honest, I used to have people saying my accent is cute. And also there's a saying, perfection is an illusion, and only authenticity is real. And if you can live in authenticity, and which truly inspires you, and you will feel more productive, more creative, and even feeling more fulfilled. So I think the same applies to English learning.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. And yeah, related, I still remember at one point of time, I was always so nervous when I speak with native speaker, because I was so self-conscious about my accent. I know it was not perfect, and it's still not perfect either right now. And also, besides my accent, I was afraid of making mistakes, using the wrong words, or using the wrong time tense and make mistake in the grammar. And that really blocked me from expressing myself freely and confidently. But actually, most people they don't care about that. And that's actually the second myth people usually have about English communication, which is you have to be 100% accurate in your grammar or using very sophisticated words to show that you can master this language and impress the audience. It doesn't have to be. As long as you can make a good point, and that's great, no matter which words you're using. I mean, even a native speaker, they make mistakes in their grammar or using the wrong words. Just think about your Chinese. Maybe, sometimes you make some mistake. So the key thing is to use the word and sentences that you are familiar with, you feel natural and confident about, and then use them in different situations and conversations and practice them all of the time. And even though you make mistakes, people will help you to correct it. And when they correct you, you will remember that better and then learn from your mistakes, which is great. Then you detect it. Also, I know that in Chinese we don't have different time tenses, but they do have that in English. And I know many people they have a really hard time switching between different time tenses at the very beginning. So if you feel it's really hard, then don't force yourself doing that. Just start with small steps and do things that you feel comfortable with. Otherwise, if you set the bar too high, you will get frustrated very soon and lose the confidence to speak out.
Something that I would like to add is I think the most important thing is make your communication being logical and also have a clear argument behind it. When you are communicating, I think not just limited to English, but even in your native language, think about the contention and also the supporting argument for that contention. Then you will make your communication very clear.
I think maybe many people, they don't even make their argument clear in Chinese, not to mention doing that in a foreign language, in English. So the most important thing, set your argument, your point clear before you're expressing yourself.
Yeah, I think that is the foundation of the communication. It doesn't matter which language that you are speaking, and the language is the surface of that, and you need to build a very strong foundation in order to be a good communicator.
Language is about communicating, not about showing off or trying to impress anyone. So don't set the bar too high for yourself, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. And lastly, take small steps. And speaking of taking small steps, the third myth that people usually have about English learning is they have to practice intensively and spending hours and hours on it and memorizing many words before they can speak out. But actually, very soon they get frustrated because they don't feel their English is improving compared to the hours, the time they're actually spending on learning it. It takes time. You don't get immediate gratification, for learning English or learning anything. So the key is not about how much time you're actually spending on it in one single day or one single week, but how you continually doing that. It's about how many days you keep doing, you keep learning, because the progress is not linear. It's a compound effect. So you have to keep doing that for a while until you can notice until you can notice the progress that you can make. So after talking about the three myths of English communication, now let's move to some action points. What should we do if we would like to improve our English communication skills?
I would say, first of all, it is about practice. Practice a lot. Maybe even just 1 hour per day, 15 minutes per day, that is really good enough. And there's so many resources available, like free resources like podcasts or English TV series if you have access to. Or something I would recommend is the audiobooks from Amazon. I remember I subscribed for a year, and within that single year, I just read so many English books that I usually won't have time to read, and make good use of my commuting time. Because in Beijing, commuting time meaning 3 hours, but I'm not saying you need to spend 3 hours per day to practice your English. But that really benefited me a lot in terms of my knowledge in different areas and as well as my English. I would say that is really a one stone, two birds kind of solution for this.
I also did something similar. I listened to podcasts on my way to work, and also besides that, I've been building a habit until now, which is doing imitation exercise. So every morning I would watch a TED Talk and then shadow the speaker and record my voice, and then I listen to the recording and so hear whether there's any area for improvement. And that really helps with my fluency and also the voice quality in my English speaking, because speaking is about muscle memory. So it's just like learning how to swim. You have to practice it all of the time until you feel good at it, you feel you can master it. Another tip we like to talk about is to over-prepare your speech. So as we mentioned again, so confidence is the most important thing about learning and speaking English. But what if you really have to, speaking up in a meeting or giving a presentation, which even a lot of native speakers, they are very nervous, they are not confident about. So for that, I can share a bit from my personal story. So in early stage of my career, I had to attend all the meetings and also giving a lot of presentations due to the nature of my job. So I was very nervous at the very beginning. So what I did was just write down the speaker notes that I would like to speak in a meeting or in a presentation, and then practice it with my friends, family, or with myself. Just record my voice and listen to it until I feel confident, until I was happy with it. And then once I'm in a meeting or in a presentation, and then I don't feel nervous anymore about it, because I've been practicing it so many times. And also I know listen to your voice recording is not it's not fun, it's not pleasant, because you notice you make a lot of mistakes. You found your voice is not very attractive as you expected or as you imagine, and then you become very self-conscious. That is fine, you will get comfortable with it. And then before you embrace yourself in front of your audience, just only you yourself watching the recording. So just like the saying goes, fake it until you can make it. Still there are many people, they are obsessed with it, speaking the perfect accent. So if you would like to hone your skill in accent, so there is a book that we highly recommend. So it's called American Accent Training. So it's a very thorough and detailed book about how to speak like a native speaker, like an American. So it has a lot of practices and tips about intonation, vowels, and word linking. Super helpful. However, we still don't believe it's the best way to learn English, because accent is not the most important thing in English communication, as we mentioned again. And I mean, sounds funny, but when my European colleague heard that I was learning American accent training, I was taking American accent training, and they were like, "Oh, Americans, they are living in a nutshell. They don't have the beauty of accent." Okay, I think that's all we would like to share so far. So hope it was helpful to you. If you have any questions for us, so please feel free to comment under this video.
Yeah, and if you like what we are sharing today, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, bye.